One of the biggest cold cases of the 20th century is the betrayal of Anne Frank. Who betrayed her and why? Born June 12, 1929, Anneliese Marie Frank was a German-born Jew who detailed her hiding in Nazi-occupied Netherlands during World War II. In mid-1942, the systematic deportation of Jews from the Netherlands started. Anne's parents Otto and Edith Frank planned to go into hiding with the children on July 16, 1942, but when Margot, their oldest daughter, received a deportation order from the Gestapo on July 5, they were forced to move the plan 10 days ahead. On the morning of Monday, July 6, 1942, the Frank family moved into their hiding place, a three-story space entered from a landing above the Opekta offices on the Prinsengracht, where some of Otto Frank's most trusted employees would be their helpers. This hiding place became known as the Secret Annex. The door to the annex was covered by a bookcase to ensure it remained undiscovered. On the morning of August 4, 1944, the annex was stormed by a group of German uniformed police. The German police received a tip-off by phone about the secret annex, which led to the raid and subsequent arrest. All 8 of the occupants of the annex were arrested along with 2 helpers. Both helpers and Otto Frank, the only survivor, were consistent about the date of the arrest. An official document about the arrest does not exist. There were at least 3 police officers involved in the raid and arrest, the Austrian Karl Silberbauer, and Dutch officers Gesenius Gringwies and Willem Grutendorst. In late 1945, Otto Frank and his helpers identified 2 Dutch police officers from photographs, Gesenius Gringwies and Willem Grutendorst. At that time, both were held in the detention centers on the Havenstraat and, according to helper Johannes Kleiman, they remembered the case when asked about it. In a letter to the political police from 1946, Kleiman, one of the helpers, mentioned Silberbauer, Gringwies, and Grutendorst by name. The most convincing was a recent investigation featured on 60 Minutes. The team, featuring an ex-FBI agent, came up with the name Arnold van den Berg. He was a member of Amsterdam's Jewish Council, a body forced to implement Nazi policy in Jewish areas. It was disbanded in 1943, and its members were sent to concentration camps. But the team found that Van den Berg was not sent to a camp, and was instead living in Amsterdam as normal at the time. There was also a suggestion that a member of the Jewish Council had been feeding the Nazis information. When Van den Berg lost all his series of protections exempting him from having to go to the camps, he had to provide something valuable to the Nazis that he's had contact with to let him and his wife at that time stay safe, former FBI agent Vince Paincoke told CBS 60 Minutes. The team said it had struggled with the revelation that another Jewish person was probably the betrayer. But it also found evidence suggesting Otto Frank, Anne's father, may himself have known that and kept it secret. In the files of a previous investigator, they found a copy of an anonymous note sent to Otto Frank identifying Arnold van den Berg as his betrayer. Mr. Paincoke told 60 Minutes that anti-Semitism may have been the reason it was never made public. Perhaps he just felt that if I bring this up again, it'll only stoke the fires further, he said. But we have to keep in mind that the fact that Van den Berg was Jewish just meant that he was placed into an untenable position by the Nazis to do something to save his life. Dutch newspaper De Volkskrant reports that Van den Berg died in 1950. Anne's father Otto was the only survivor. Unfortunately, Anne and her sister Margot died at Bergen-Belsen concentration camp in early 1945.